Good morning, everybody. David here, and today I'm here with Mark. He's a target individual as well. I've known him for a couple of years. He's been targeted since 2010. Um, I'm going to read something before I start asking you questions. I found something really good, and I think it's really helpful to some people watching this. So it says how painful deception can be. It is indescribably violating to show up at an event, take our dog to the veterinarian, or stop to refuel our vehicle and find ourselves in the middle of a staged conversation with a perpetrator. This is what they call a random encounter. It seems to be a meaningless waste of time, precisely their goal to waste our time and energy. We're commonly so isolated and hungry for conversation that we get set up every time. Organized stalkers would do anything to pull us away from ourselves. Their job is to inconvenience us and get in the way of our plans, God's plans. These perpetrators have no concern for us, and by their facial expressions, they're overstimulated at the opportunity to detain us. They want to impress the group, those who are watching and listening to their 10 minutes on stage. People from all age, nationalities, and neighborhoods are involved in this community-oriented policing program. When we really have no idea what to do, we take our problems to God and we do what we can and leave the rest to Him. Okay, and so Mark, I was just going to ask, like, when did your targeting start, and what happened? What did you notice when your targeting first started? When did you start being
Okay.
like, hey, something ain't right here?
When I first started being like something ain't right, man, and knew that I was targeted, I guess you would say overtly, because they start covertly and then they go to overtly, was about 2010, 14 years ago. I believe I may have been targeted since birth, but I'm not sure. Um, Maybe targeted and watched since birth, but I know definitely since 2010 is when they made themselves known to me.
Yeah. So what was going on that you started noticing?
Oh man, it's right when my son was being born. It actually may have been like the end of 2009 or beginning of 2010 because it was before my son was born, and I started hearing voices in my head, and I started noticing weird stuff happening, like strange happenings and stuff. Things started happening to me that have basically have non-human existing probabilities of happening, if you know what I mean. There's
Yeah,
no way.
like
There's no way it'd be like hitting a Powerball 10 times in your life for this shit to happen and the way it happens.
right. And you were getting gang stalks pretty hard at the time.
Yeah. Um, I started. I don't know. I know everybody's targeting is different. People have different things. Some get hit with just do weapons. Some get just the V2K. Some get the gang stalking. Some like me get all of it. I've had a little bit of all of it, and but the appearance of them and them coming out. I don't know if other people have experienced things when people will say stuff to you that nobody else can know. Only you can know that and stuff, and people start saying these things to you, and you're like, well, wow, how can anybody know this? There's no way. Stuff like that. Then
Yeah.
they started following me, coming in droves and gangs. There would be like sometimes 20 or 30 cars circling me everywhere I'd walk, everywhere I go. If I go, I'm in this parking lot at Hardee's and say the Burger King's a mile down the road, every parking lot in between there that I walk through, they're going to be there circling me.
Now I remember I got lucky and got a job at this trailer plant, and uh, every time I only lasted a week there because my V2K was telling me, man, they're going to kidnap you, man. And then every time it would tell me that, I would notice, I would look, and people were just whispering back and forth, looking at me. And then when I would walk out to the parking lot, I had 4 cars every day. I walked to the parking lot to get to the vehicle I was riding with. They'd circle me like a shark, like driving around this big parking lot because it'd be people were pulling out and stuff, but they'd be circling, driving perfect circles around me. So they like the circle thing, and they like following you, and then yours is like mine, like we were talking about before we started the interview. Like, man, so many people would be involved in this community stalking, like at the airports and all that stuff. They had to have been mind controlled. I mean,
Right.
there's no way you can get the word out that quick that, hey, stalk him, stalk him, stalk him. Some of them just had to be mind controlled to do some of the stuff they were doing because they didn't
Right.
know me from Adam.
Right. Exactly right, man. That's you said another thing that they do, another important thing they do is put that sense of dread and fear inside you, this awful sense of dread and fear that something bad is going to happen. Or like you said, I worked the same type of jobs that you worked, as working on tractor trailers, loading tractor trailers and stuff and shipping. And every time I would walk into that trailer, I wouldn't be looking what I was doing. I'd be looking over my shoulder, looking behind my back, because they would tell me the same thing. We're gonna kidnap you. When you walk in the trailer, we're gonna slam the door on you and take your ass off. And yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and you're like, well, forget this. I ain't fixing to take a chance of this being real. I'm leaving this job.
Right. Because then you got that. You might can deal with that, but then you got all your coworkers and stuff talking smack, saying stuff that
Yeah,
nobody could or whatever.
participating,
Yeah.
spreading
Participating
rumors around the plant,
uh,
smear campaigns, bullying, all that.
workplace mobbing,
Hmm.
what it called. Yeah.
So you said you experienced V2K. Uh, could you explain what they say to you? Like what you experienced with V2K? I mean, don't go into no. Uh, I mean, don't get too crazy because I know V2K can be crazy. Like I got my wife's voice saying I'm going to be kidnapped any day, or sometimes like this morning they were like, David, what are you doing? Why are you fixing to do an interview, dude? You're worthless, man. This is not accomplishing nothing, and you're fixing to do another interview. You're not getting nothing done. They do that. They put shame, guilt. They're like down talking me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same here. They've slacked off here recently, but they've slacked off for everything here recently. And that makes me worry more than when they fucking with me. Because when they slack off, every time I've noticed over the 14 years, when they slack off or stop for a little while, it's cause they getting something together big. They
Yep.
fought me one time. And
Yep. When
no
they do
matter
that to
what,
me, what they'll do is they'll let off on them weapons, and I'll be like, man, I'm getting a break. I got energy. I can get something accomplished today.
right,
Well, 2 or 3 days later, they hit me so hard I can't even get out of bed.
right.
So yeah, I know the feeling there. Um, uh, who do you think is behind your targeting?
Who do I think is behind it?
Like, who do you think
Um,
started your targeting? Or
let's say some authority figures. Authority. I believe in some authority figures and stuff. I had something happen to me um, that may have been a part of my targeting, could have been a part of my targeting then what happened to me, but uh, I started running my big mouth and saying I was going to sue such and sue these people and this for the way they did me because I had proof. And it was not long after that when they made themselves known and it was like, you got to go, basically ran me, ran
right,
me. When I say run me, I mean that circling shit that we're gonna kill you shit in your head circling at the same time, just hitting you from all angles and stuff, man. Sometimes you ain't got no choice but to go.
yeah. They in my targeting they even get young people involved. Like they'll have these young dudes like mugging me and reaching down at their waist like they're fixing to shoot me and smiling. And have you ever experienced any of that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like at the bus station, they had these two kids come in. They were about 13 or 14, and they were black, and uh they were looking at me mean, like mugging me. And then dude kept reaching for his waist, like he was fixing to pull something out any minute, like and shoot me and stuff. And they just kept following me around and stuff. I finally turned around and said, "What are y'all gonna do? Are y'all gonna do it or not?" I said, "Because I don't care at this point, because I didn't at that point." I said, so y'all can man up and do what you got to do or what you've been told to come do, or you can just walk away. I said, but it's gonna, if you're gonna do it. And they they didn't know what to think when I done that. That like they freaked out and just like stopped doing it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
You know
used
how
to read.
people will act like they're fake pulling on you, like they're gonna pull it. You know, that's what they were doing to me in Kansas City, Missouri. Never forget it.
I used to react like that to them. I used to react like that every time to them, like, "Oh, what the fuck, you know?" But I don't do that.
Yeah, it's not good to react.
Since I realized that it's not the actual people, it's the people being taken over by other people or other beings, whatever the
Well, I
fuck it
don't know
is.
about other beings.
Yeah,
I would say a supercomputer.
right. And that's
Could be other beings though. But
by the way we were talking about that before we started the interview.
yeah,
They drew me here to the supercomputer. Like,
yeah, because well, I don't know if you want to say where you're at, but that's up to you.
I
But
don't care. I don't care.
yeah, so he's
I
in
think
Maryland where Fort Detrick is, and there's supposedly supercomputers are underground in Maryland. That's what I've heard, but nobody really knows, but speculation points all there.
and and I'm from the South, and I've never been up north in my whole life until 2.5 years ago. And the situation that got me here was really crazy and ended up turning out to be even more crazy. But that's that's uh, that's just another coincidence.
Have you ever dealt with Have you ever ran across any honeypots?
Oh man,
Could you explain the situation with a honeypot that you ran into?
a honeypot will come in and they'll send a girl in. They'll send a girl in your type too. They know what you like. They know if you like my preferences. My preferences dark hair and like thicker women, bigger women, and they know that, and that's what they would send. They'll send a woman like that, and they'll come in and get close to you, and act like they're all in love with you and shit like this, and the whole time they're just getting your information. They're just taking information and relaying it to back to the home team and robbing you, taking your shit, taking what you got and leaving, whatever.
Finding out what your fears are too, and what they can do to make you even more scared.
Right.
What you worry about. That's what mine did. Part of what mine did. It's like finding out. Because I used to. Ever since I've been targeted, I'm bad about barricading doors, man. I'll barricade doors. So I had a honeypot. What it would do when I barricade the door, she would pull all the stuff away from the door and throw it on the floor and be like, "Yeah, I'm letting them in. I'm letting them in. I'm letting them in," and freak me out. I remember one
That's
time
some
I was
crazy shit, man.
sleeping. I remember one time I lucked up one time because I used to sleep on the couch with a shotgun loaded, and I had the shotgun loaded, and I was sleeping, and it was in my hand, and I woke up and accidentally squeezed the trigger, and it blew a hole through the trailer like that.
Nah, I don't know about that, but I was
We
gonna
had to
say I'm not
cover. Hey,
laughing. I'm
it
not.
missed my toe. It had to miss my toe because when you're laying with a shotgun, right? Man, I had to cover it up with a Marilyn Monroe, my wife's Marilyn Monroe thing, but it freaked me out. But I used to be that bad, and I still, you got to. I don't know. I feel comfortable when the doors are barricaded really good. Where, you know, I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've ever barricaded any doors in your life, but
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing because I know exactly what you're talking about. All the way now, I don't the shotgun stuff like blowing a hole in the wall. No, I don't know about that.
that was an
But
accident, man. I woke up and jerked when I sleep. When I woke up, and it pulled the trigger.
barricading the doors and tying locks together on the doors and all that, I know all about that. I know all about that. And I don't. And people can laugh or say whatever. He's a chump or a wuss or put. There ain't a man alive. Mike Tyson, they put this shit on him that wouldn't be scared and that fearful where they wouldn't barricade the door.
Yep.
And that's facts. There ain't a man alive that wouldn't be scared having this shit done to him.
Yeah, because it's fear-based program. They
Yeah.
thrive off fear. They love reactions, and they love when you react in fear. And
Yeah.
Brian too even says that the reactions they want you to react because they're trying to get a complete model, cognitive model of your brain to create an avatar, and they can't do that without your reaction. So once you react enough over time, it builds the model they want of your avatar and your human, because they say they got a cognitive model. Then they can heterodyne you because they have your brain cloned.
Right.
And it's deep.
Flora Sturdom has that. Her
Yeah.
profile pic is fear yourselves if you're buying, and that's facts, and that's what this program is. That's exactly every time I come across her profile picture, it reminds me of that. It reminds me that it's just a fear-based program that they ain't gonna do shit. If they're going to do something, they're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna kill you. If they want you dead, you dead. If they want you shut up, you shut up. You just got to learn how to live with that, because that's all we can do right now. But we can do stuff like this and talk about it and try to help others and try to get out that, try to get that message out there and stuff. Because people that are just coming in are scared to death. You know how it was for us when we first started coming in. That's why I keep on. That's why I keep on getting on the still go to the target individual groups and talk and stuff like that. I feel like maybe if I can help somebody just with the information, because that's what I did for a year and a half straight. I sat in the house and did nothing but research on this stuff. I did nothing but research and talk to people and find out what I think is going on, what's going on in my situation and stuff. And I did that for a year and a half straight. I'm just like everybody else. I still don't know why we're targeted, what exactly is going on, what the commonalities are between us, that have, because some, you say it's a spiritual program or lit, and it is spiritual to some people, but some people aren't spiritual. Some people are, so it can't just be that. You can't limit it to that. You know what I mean?
And that's sort of why I don't get on, some people's asked me, why don't you talk about being a chosen one? Well, if you look in the Bible, it says there's 144,000 that are chosen, and there's a lot more than 144,000 targets. So, that's what finds me difficult to talk about being a chosen one. Now, I do think God's got some kind of, special mission for us or whatever, and whatever it is, or because if you look at Job, he suffered, but I'm not gonna get into too much Bible stuff because
Right.
but yeah, if you look at Job,
Yeah.
me and Holly's been reading the book of Job lately because that's who we feel like sometimes. He's took everything from us, and Satan took everything from Job, and then it says in Job 42:10, when Job prayed for his friends through all that stuff and didn't give up on God, and he prayed for his friends, God gave him back double, and that's in Job 42 verse 10.
Right.
So, I'm just hoping that better days come. And, I know you've seen me in my freak out modes at the airport and stuff when I was being perp. And you said you watched a couple videos back in the day when I was running airport, bus station, stuff like that. How do you cope with this? Because, that's one of the reasons I do interviews is, for one, the more different stories we get out, the more non-targets watch this stuff and be like, wow, there's no way they're making this stuff up. They're coming off the cuff with their answers. They're not reading off a script. This is real deal. And there's no way all these different people are getting on these interviews and saying all this stuff off the cuff, and it's just false. You know what I'm saying?
You got lawyers, doctors, scientists, people of high stature that have been brought down low, because all they have to do is just silence you. To silence you, all they have to do is blacklist you from everything. They put you on this list right here, and it's over for you. You can't come up. You can tell who you want to tell, because it's not going to go anywhere. It's only going to go right in between around us and stuff. And if it goes anywhere else, people are going to say, "Oh, they crazy as fuck."
Yeah.
they just schizophrenic. But man, you got all these people in high places and high statures that have been brought down low, like Robert Duncan. He's famous. He's a scientist, right? He's a author of several books and stuff, but he has been limited to talking to us about this stuff, and he can't go anywhere else. And if he does make it somewhere else, God help him, they probably gonna take him out.
Yeah. And they can bring the greatest people down with their smear campaigns and their tactics. I mean, you know what I was thinking the other day? Trump, Trump, Stormy Daniels thing, and I don't know if he really did anything with Stormy Daniels, and I'm not even trying to get into that. I'm just trying to use this as an example. You know, stuff they would do to a target individual is they would send Stormy Daniels in, especially if you had prestige and had money or something. Then they would have Stormy Daniels say something like that, and then boom, after she says something like that, then the people's looking at you crazy, and then so it's just crazy like how that happened. So I don't know if that was a ploy or not. I don't get into politics, but I just think I was thinking the other day. I was like, I wonder if they done Trump. If Trump really didn't do nothing to Stormy Daniels, Stormy Daniels just came to Trump and said, "Look, I'm gonna say this if you don't give me this check." Then she gives him. Then he gives her the check, and then boom, she reports that too, and boom, and it was all ploy by the Democratic Party to bring him down. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
neutral. I don't talk about politics with who I'm for and who I'm not for because I'm not for neither one of them. But I'm just saying it could have been a ploy from the Democrats. I mean, that's just a perfect example of how slick people are to try to bring people down, and that goes on in the politician world all the time, stuff like that. So, like you said, top scientists and stuff like that can be brought down by smear campaigns, setups, and it's no different than target individuals. They start these smear campaigns. And the crazy thing is about these smear campaigns is everybody knows what's being said about you, but they never. It's hard to find out what's being said.
It's like a big joke and everybody's in on it but you. Everybody, it's a big secret and everybody knows but you. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the that's the crazy thing too. Uh, you can never figure that out either. I couldn't.
Did you ever did you ever experience smear campaigns, and did you have a bunch of family and friends before you were a target, and did they isolate you? Could you explain if they isolated you, how they done it?
Man, that's that to me, that was the worst part of this program was the smear campaign and stuff. That was the worst part to me because I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I've lived quite many years, and I prided myself on a lot of stuff that they said about me. I prided myself on not being that or either being that, and they saying I'm not, or vice versa. Um, like for instance, they put out there that I was a snitch. I prided myself my whole life on not being a snitch. I went and laid down. I've uh, I've got a past. I went to prison a couple of times, but that's what I did. I laid down and I went to prison, and wear mine, and to put that out about me that I'm a snitch or snitching on these people and stuff like that was one of the worst things to me that they could do to me. Um,
Yeah, I know
uh, other things too, but other little small bullshit things that they put out there. But yeah, that was one of the worst things of this program to me because I prided myself on
and
that.
the crazy thing is what they'll do is they'll create fake documents and spread them around like you really done whatever they're trying to smear you for. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? They'll
and now
create documents that look real. They'll go that far when they start targeting you. They'll like, all right, so they might pass out a fake record showing that you got a sex charge and really you don't. And if you pull your real records, you don't, but they falsified that. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
convince people of it.
yeah,
It's
I
really
could,
messed up.
I could have 'em. I can
And there's
see it.
nothing worse than your friends and families just starting to fade away from you, and you're like, "What in the world? I hadn't done nothing." You know what I'm saying? What,
Yeah.
you're, and then you're isolated.
When you finally realize though that it's not them all the time, it might be them sometimes, because you got problems. Everybody's got problems, but if you pay close attention, sometimes you can catch when the person is being taken over and when they come back to. Like you can actually see it sometimes in their body language and their face, expressions and stuff. But the weird thing is they continue on like because it'll end up being a part of whatever situation that's happening anyway, and they'll continue on and not even know why they did it, and you won't either. Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people get taken over with mind control to participate in street theater, stalking, perping, and all that stuff. Like it's definitely like you said, you'll be in a room and it's just like somebody gets took over.
Yeah.
That really happens, and that's no joke. So I think some of it is people being told lies and participating, and some of them, are just because I've been in I was in 12 states in 6 months, and there's no way I'm bouncing around state to state, and people are just participating in this stuff out of the blue. People that don't even know me. I mean, I'm just now getting into New Orleans. Then these people, I never asked for directions as a target individual, because every time I went early in 2018, man, every time I asked for directions, they would send me on this wild goose chase the wrong way. Then, this dude bought me an airplane ticket. He's another TI back in 2022. And he's like, well, all you got to do is get to the airport and you can have a place to stay with me. I was supposed to be going to Connecticut. So I'm in Memphis and I'm in Germantown. And so I'm like, all right. So I get my GPS. I start following it. I'm getting closer and closer to the airport by my GPS, but really I'm getting further and further away. So a cop stops me and he's like, oh, I'm going to get you to the airport. Yeah, you're lost. He said, you're 13 miles in the wrong direction. All you had to do is walk straight the other way and you'd have got to the airport. I said, well, my GPS told him. He's like, well, hold on. I'm going to help you out and get you where you need to go. So about 20 minutes later, he comes back to me. I'm standing on the side of the road at 3 a.m, done walk 13 miles in the wrong direction. So he's like, I got bad news, man. They won't let me take you to the airport. So I'm going to point you to the airport and then you can get there on your own. So by the time I walked all the way back to the bridge I was staying under, it was too late. I'd done missed my flight. So I had to sleep under the bridge another night and try to organize. And I was so wore out after that 13 miles there and 13 miles back. And it was in August. I went up under that bridge. I pulled I was in my boxers under the bridge, just laying down like this. I was exhausted, took a nap. So they hack GPSs. They send you wrong directions. I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that.
Oh yeah.
Bouncing around the new towns, because you got to learn new towns when you go there.
Yeah, but they beat you there, and it don't matter where you go, they're already there. So that's how you know it's a mind control thing too. But some of it, don't get me wrong, people are going to be like, "Oh man, it's criminal." Yeah, it is a criminal. It is criminal activity, and there are people in charge that are doing things to you, and there are street theater and all that. I've experienced all that. Don't think I'm just saying it's a total mind control thing that people. No, it is. It is definitely. It is definitely. Illegal activities too.
Are you able to hold a job as a TI?
Man, I had 6 W-2s last year. 6 W-2s. And I work. I'm a hard worker. I work good and stuff. It was always the people. It was always the people. It was always smear campaigns, saying the workplace mobbing, and boom, out the door.
Yeah.
That's the way that's man, I just not working now, but luckily I got blessed to get a place to stay. Have a roof over my head, because I've been on the street for a long time. Got my son back with me. They did some bullshit to me there. They in March, a couple of days after my birthday, they charged me with second-degree assault on my child. What happened? We were staying in the family shelter, and one of the people that worked there at the shelter, I got into an argument with him, a disagreement, and I think he was sweet on one of the girls there, or whatever. And I had been helping them out, washing the dishes for them and stuff like that. They're younger girls, like I'm older man. They're like kids to me, even in their 20s, late 20s, they're like kids to me. And I was helping them out, washing the dishes for them and stuff. I give the children like $1 or two, a couple of dollars here. And the guy comes up to me and tells me, "Don't be giving them women's kids money. It's disrespectful." I said, "Disrespectful?" He was like, "Yeah, you giving them kids money without asking the parents, disrespectful." I was like, "Okay, all right." So I go back in, I'm washing the dishes. This woman comes in, she gave my child $5 earlier, and I took out $5 to give back to her right in the kitchen. And he comes running in there and says, "What I tell you about giving them women's kid money?" I said, "You're wrong." "No, I'm not wrong. I told you about that. I told you about giving them women." "You're wrong." "No, I ain't wrong." I said, "Look around you, man. There are no kids here. I'm giving the woman that money." He went into the office and sat down. And now I don't know if this was a setup or whatever, because he by the way, he kicked the woman, he had kicked her husband out like a week before this. They had him kicked out of the shelter. Same woman. But she comes up like 5 minutes later after me and him getting an argument. He jumps on me about giving her the money back. And she gives him 2 brand new t-shirts and wrapped in a package and says, "Go give this to Mark's son." And he walks right behind my back while I'm washing the dishes and walks into my room and hands them 2 shirts to my son. And I was seeing him, and I go to him and I'm like, "What the fuck, man? You just told me, literally just told me, giving people's kids stuff without asking the parent is disrespectful. And you just walked right behind my back, cuz, and went and gave my son 2 shirts."
Yeah.
"Well, that's different." I said, "That ain't no fucking different." And me and him start arguing. I grab my son, get my son out, and we go outside. And we're about to get on the elevator. Now, my son's a boxer. He's training in boxing. He's 14, but he's about 5'10", 5'11", and he's a boxer. We're getting on the elevator, and I tap him in the chest like that and say, "Tighten up, boy. Watch what's going on around you," you know. And the guy that I just argued with happened to be there. Now we're out of the family shelter. We're going to the elevator, and he sees it and runs out there and says, "You just hit your child." I said, "Man, he's a boxer. You know this. We live here. I don't care what it is. You just hit your child." I said, "Man, come on." And I told my child, "Come on." He steps in front of me. "You ain't going nowhere. You just hit your child." I said, "Hold up, man. Now you don't have the authority to do that. Now just get out my face." He steady there cussing me out and stuff. I'm like, "Man, now you're hollering at me in front of my child." Still wouldn't let up. So I pushed him. And me and him get into a little fight there. They call the police. Police come. The family shelter immediately trespasses me from all shelters, right, without investigation or anything, immediately. The guy, though, while the police were on the way, I was telling him, I was like, "Look, man, you calling the police, you got the police called." I said, they might be arresting me, but I'm gonna make sure that they know, one, that situation about the money, and there weren't no children in there when I was giving that girl money. Two, what happened with you giving my son them shirts, and three, that you're sweet on that girl and stuff. So the police get there after me saying that. He don't want to press charges. Okay, well, what about me? I want to press charges. I would like to press charges for kidnapping. He enabled me from moving with me and my child and wouldn't let me go. That's kidnapping. No, you can't take charges out on him. I said, "Okay, well, you're free to go." I said, "Okay, what about my things?" "Well, you have to get them later. You have to come back and get them later." I said, "What about my child?" Well, we'll have to figure that out later too." I said, "No, we're gonna figure that out right now. It's just me and my child. That's all he's got. I'm all he got, and vice versa. And we're gonna figure this out right now." So they say, "Turn around, put your hands behind your back." And they arrest me for second-degree assault on my child. Put me in jail for 12 days until they straighten it out. No bond, because they want to make sure my son's safe. And finally figure out where they messed up and that it was bullshit charge. And I get out finally. But finally, I got a roof over my head now. Now I got things happening for me. So I know to be
And you got your child back
my child back.
because they were in the wrong. Yeah.
Because they were wrong. Right.
Yeah. You were just tapping him saying, "Hey," you were just really tapping him saying, "Hey, pay attention to your surroundings." And the dude had something. See, that's what they do. They do little stuff like that just to make you a hard time, because you had to go to jail, then you had to get your son back and all that.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
And social
Because
services.
I remember you contacted me and asked me to pray for you in that time. You were stressed out. I remember that.
I thank you for that too, man, because that could be the reason I'm right here. But yeah, that's just I wanted to share that. That's just a small little tidbit of things that they do that can be done, and you can't do anything about it. Nothing.
Right.
But um, but protect yourself. Try to protect yourself with if you're in some kind of altercation with somebody and you got your phone and you can record it. If you can remember dates and stuff that happened, where it happened, remember that, because everything's on camera now. There's eyes everywhere. Everything's being recorded. You can't go nowhere without it. So if you can remember when this shit happened, you can back it up. Back to have them bring it up if you get that lucky enough for somebody to help you. See, in my case, like they push everybody away from me, where I don't have many people that help me.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
have many
that's a
people.
lot of our stories. But and then they were in the wrong, so now they made sure that they got you a place to stay, well, like a voucher for a place to stay, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they were in the wrong and they knew you had them by the balls as far as a lawsuit.
Yeah. I was supposed to get the voucher anyway. I was supposed to get the voucher anyway. Then, but I think that just like solidified it and made it happen. So everything happens for a reason. If that hadn't happened, I might still be on the street. They might still
Right.
be driving. They might still be
Right.
driving.
Yep. So something that was meant for bad got turned in your favor, and that's rare for a target individual. So that's a good thing.
It is
God's
rare.
good, because I know you
God
stay
is
in
good.
Scripture a lot. I watch you on Facebook, and I've been in contact with you for a while, so I know you're really into the Scriptures, or you were, from what
Yep,
I've seen.
I am. I don't like to call myself. I really don't like to call myself a Christian these days because of how a lot of the
Yeah, I
people
don't call myself that either. I call myself a follower of Christ.
yeah, they've tainted that name pretty much enough for me to not want to label myself as that. Plus, I like to study and read other religions too, because you can't be somebody that believes in Christ or be a Christian and say, well, he's going to hell. He believes in Islam. He believes in Allah. He's a false god. He's going to hell, and not even know what their religion's about. You know what I mean? So I like to study and read other religions too, just so I can get a feel from where they're coming from. Because I don't want to be that hypocrite that you know.
Right.
But my Bible is my sword. It's my AK-47. I upgraded my sword to an AK. My Bible is my AK-47.
Right. Because that's one thing I've been slipping lately on doing it. I need to do it more. But once you learn the Word of God, and you go through one of them situations, I'll be like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. All things work together for those who love the Lord. Be anxious in nothing, but everything, prayer and supplication, make your request be known before God, and peace. I start quoting scriptures at them. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
once you know the word's got power. But if you're not a believer and you're watching this, but believers believe that the word of God has got power. So then
yeah,
I'll quote Psalms 91. I know that from the back of my head.
yeah.
So
You
that's what
said
I
it.
use when I'm in situations. I'll start quoting scripture because it says God's word won't return void.
I like to use that. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill toward anyone. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And now, knowing that it's high time to waken out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer than we believe.
Amen.
Amen. But
Yeah.
we're gonna turn this into a religious
No,
thing
no, 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 no. We're gonna get off of it.
or
I
Bible
just
thing. Because I feel for my brothers and sisters who are not in Christ or don't believe and don't that
Oh
I
yeah,
love.
I'm not better than nobody.
Right.
I respect everybody's beliefs. Because that's them and they got their own road to walk. And I'm no better than them. We're all in the same situation. We're all being targeted. We're all going through torture daily, and no target's better or more prestige than the other target. I feel like we're all equal, and we're all going through the same thing, and that's how we need to look at each other.
Yeah, I believe that too, man. I love everybody the same. I did have one thing that I wanted to mention that it couldn't hurt anything, but it might could possibly or potentially help something. Uh, I wanted to see if maybe we could get a call going or something, maybe a Zoom call or call on Messenger with as many TIs as we could get, and maybe just get all of us on this one call together. Not saying
Yeah,
anything, but get like one positive declaration or one thing that we want to happen, and getting all of us together on that call and just being quiet and all of us thinking about that thing at the same time, just thinking about it, like manifestation. Because man, that's one of the weird things that happens to me too. Here in this targeting, my son's targeted too, by the way. But we uh we have been really a lot lately. It's been going on for a while, but here lately it's been happening a lot. Is we've been saying stuff and manifesting it into existence, or thinking about things and it coming to us. I think maybe because there's some reason this is a fact too. There's some reason that they don't like TIs being close to each other and being with each other and being around. There's some reason they try to push us all apart and separate us.
yeah,
I'm just saying it couldn't hurt nothing. And it could potentially help if people would believe in stuff like that.
yeah. Because last year there was a couple TIs that were really trying to contact me, and I was really trying to communicate with them, but I was getting hit so hard. I had half-gallon Ziploc bags on each side of my head, full of water, holding them on my head because they were beaming my head so bad. Like, and then I just couldn't. And then they got mad, like, "Well, you're always busy, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No, I'm getting tortured here." So they don't want us. You're right, and they don't want us coming together. And I think a call like that would be great. But the bad thing about the TI community is we're all leery of each other and who's a perp and who's not a perp, and it keeps us divided. I mean, wouldn't you? Now there are perps out there, so all this controlled opposition does is keep us divided because it's hard to tell who's real, who's well. It's not hard to tell if you're a seasoned TI, but sometimes they trick even seasoned TIs.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
but uh, but yeah, I think that's a great plan, and you ought to try to put that together. I mean, uh,
I'm not really
like
I'm
you
not
can
really
get.
technology savvy.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I'm kind of technology literate, uh, to be honest. So I'm not sure about how to set up the calls and stuff like that. Maybe you could help with
Yeah,
that
I
or something.
could. Yeah, I could.
I know you could help pass the word, but maybe you could help me help set up a call or something. We could do this thing.
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt.
Do you experience microwave weapons?
Oh yeah.
I mean, could you explain what you feel when you go through it? Like me, I'll give you an example. Like me, I get burns in my head, really, really hot. I get tingly and shocks all through I get shocks throughout my body sometimes, like mostly shocks to the back of my cerebral cortex. My whole body vibrates. I get really, when this happens, I get really, really nauseated. I bet, man, I'm lucky that we have Holly gets a Zofran, which is it's kind of like Phenergan, but it's Zofran. It dissolves on your tongue and it's for nausea. I bet we've went through prescription after prescription. There's no telling how many we went through because of nausea, because of these weapons, and stuff. And so I
Man,
don't. So what do you experience with your weapons?
I get the burning sensation, stuff like that, the chills, problems, problems with urination and bowels,
Yep.
uh, also the sexual thing. They do that too. Even I know, like I said, I get hit with all of it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. They.
won't I won't say her name, but there's one particular lady on here that gets hit with that a lot, and she talks about that. That's her thing that they like to do to her. That's so that's so sickening and so sad. Man, I really feel for her, because I know what it's like. Because they they've hit me with the sexual thing, the sexual stimulation at the wrong times, the thoughts and stuff like that. Yeah. Um, I experienced pretty much a little bit of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never experienced the only thing 3 months ago they started shocking my left testicle. Like they'll shock, it'll get shocks like bam, bam, bam. It shocks like it's being electrocuted and it hurts really bad. But that's as far as it's went on the sexual. But the sexual stuff, it does happen. It's very derogatory. I feel for you for going through that, man, because that, I've heard a lot of targets talk about that, and that's a real thing. And people can think it's crazy or nonsense, but it's real. And
Yeah.
that's the crazy. August 29th is Target Individual Day. By the way, it was started a few years ago, and I think that people are there's some. I'm trying to get some information on people gathering together and stuff about that on that day and stuff. Some people are supposed to be gathering on that day. Some people do that. They usually have a rally and stuff, and I'm gonna try to get some information on that for TIs and stuff. But that's another thing. People are like, well, nobody comes to these rallies when we set them up. Well, TIs are getting tortured. How are we supposed to go to a rally when we're getting tortured and
Torture.
try to make
They're
travel plans, and they're hacking our phones, keeping us from getting any money to travel, keeping us from,
right.
you know. So it's kind of hard for us to congregate because they have access to anything and they can destroy and sabotage anything we come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Like especially with the remote neural monitoring, like I used to when I was homeless, I'd be walking to one store and I'd have it in my head, all right, I'm going to this Family Dollar to get something. So on the way to Family Dollar, if I seen another store, I would just and go there real quick without thinking and get what I got and get out of there before any perps came.
Yeah.
Man.
I know one thing. It sucks, man. This program sucks and it's hard. But I read a post the other day that said, have you noticed that when you stay in bed, your perps are defeated?
I saw that same post.
Yeah, I said, man, but so are you. And so are you. That's
Yep.
they're winning, and that's what they want. As long as
Yep.
you're not out and trying to find out what their activities are, what they want, how things work, then they're winning. You
Yep.
know, they're not defeated. They're not defeated. They're happy. So
Yeah, I saw that same post.
that's why they're leaving you alone. They're not defeated. They're happy. They're happy that you're laying the fuck down.
Yep.
I ain't lay the fuck down. I got kids. I got family. I got people. We all got. This is coming for everybody too, and we know it, and we're trying to tell everybody. It's like you screaming out loud, and ain't nothing coming out.
Right.
Got no voice. It's like you're screaming to everybody, and nobody can hear you. You ain't got no voice. Nobody's waking up.
People don't care about other people suffering until it happens to them. Then they start caring. And like you said, it's going to get rolled out on everybody eventually. And 5G, death towers, and all this, the Wi-Fi and all this stuff, it's all poison radiation. We're sitting in a big radiation field. Everybody is, whether they like it or not. So that's the one thing I try to do is, well, I've been on the zeolite. Is kind of rough if you don't replace your magnesium and your potassium. I take zeolite. I've been taking zeolite, but I took a break until I can figure out how to, because it's a natural thing. It comes from lava, and you take it and it goes through your body and it binds all the metals and takes them out of you. But you got it attracts the positive ions and mercury and lead and all that stuff. It attracts it and it takes it and it. You ever heard of zeolite? It's a detox thing, yeah, from heavy metals. So I've been trying to do that lately, and I take lion's mane mushroom, uh, uh, turkey tail mushroom. Been taking magnesium because these weapons will drain you of all your vitamins and stuff. So, and then I haven't been outside in 2 years because I'm agoraphobic. So I take vitamin D, of course, because I'm not in the sun.
My uncle was too. My uncle
He was
had.
agoraphobic.
Yes, sir. That's rare. Yeah.
Yeah. This gang stalking program has made me agoraphobic. I freak out in public. I
was like
have
that too.
attacks and all that.
Yeah.
Wow. So your uncle was actually agoraphobic, huh? Did he ever? So if he went out, he had panic attacks, huh?
Yeah. He had panic attack or spells sometimes. Spells like he would just not even know what he's doing, or because he, I guess, so much going on and stuff. But yeah, he would order his groceries. This is back before really online groceries were going and stuff like that. He still ordered his food. He'd find a supermarket that did that, even when grocery stores weren't doing that, to deliver his groceries and everything, man.
Wow.
I can't say I believe it. People suck these days.
Did you ever have any of your family participate in your stalking,
Oh yeah,
targeting?
yeah,
That's a rough one. I've dealt with that with my family as well, and
yeah.
nothing hurts worse than have them participate in it. And I think, like you said, my mind wants me to believe, well, they were mind controlled to do it, and I hope they were. I hope they didn't voluntarily participate in it, but because that that would hurt even worse.
Right, right. I know what you mean.
Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up, but I got always ask two questions before I end. Do you have anything else to say?
Man, I just want to say, uh, if you out there, you first, you're just now learning about this program. You're just now starting to decipher what's going on and feel what's going on. Man, don't give up. Don't stop. Don't give in to them. Don't succumb to them. Just fight this thing, man. Fight. Do your best to be your best person. Because when you're your best person, it doesn't matter what they're doing to you. If you're being the best person you can be, and you know that, hey, that's all you can do. You let them hinder you and stuff. Don't react. Don't react to everything. Some things need reaction. Some things don't. That's what they're looking for is reaction from you to see, and that's how they figure you out. If you and do things also do random stuff. Like if you're gonna go somewhere and you got some other things to do, and you got your mindset on going this place, take a dip off and cut to the other place and stuff. That way, they can't because they can read your thoughts. Of course, they're all that bullshit. Uh, if you just do something random,
Right. And two more things I want to add to what he said. Don't commit suicide and don't go out here. And if you got V2K telling you to go out here and hurt somebody or commit violence, do not do it. Don't do it. So, and then my last question for you, and I asked every TI this, do you think this program, how do you see this program? Do you think it's going to end or get worse?
I think it's gonna end. A lot of people probably disagree with me or whatever, but man, we got some smart motherfuckers in our group. That's a fact too. We got some intelligent people, some highly intelligent people. Even the people that don't seem like it, and it seems like sometimes they're saying crazy shit. Sometimes in an insane world, the same people are crazy. So don't. That's another thing. Don't take anything anybody says lightly or for BS because it may not be. You never know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna fixing to stop the recording. I appreciate you coming on here and doing the interview, Mark. I've known you for 2 years, man. You're a good dude. Glad you got your son back, man. And I wish you the best. And I'm gonna continue saying prayers for you and stuff. And we got to continue lifting each other up. And I guess we can talk some other time about on the side behind the scenes about trying to get a call or something started where we can do what
Yeah.
you suggested. So hold on, I'm gonna stop the recording and then we can finish saying our goodbyes. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.